Hi, welcome to episode 2 of Dragon Age Unbroken. Oh, and look who is not prepared. It's me, this gal right here. Episode 2. What are we calling it? A little night work is what we're calling it tonight. I am Rose, she, her, and I'll be playing I will be the storyteller. I'm playing all the other NPCs tonight, so any and all pronouns for the rest of them. Let's start by introducing the players and then we'll get right started. I'm going to go do a little bit things a little bit differently and go from the bottom up of my window that I can see here. And we're going to start character intros with Mare.
Hello there. My name is Mare. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Oh Hello Mare. And tonight I will be Aurelia Levinicus, our Teventer mage.
Nice. And then Garnet.
Hi, y'all. I am Garnet. I am usually hanging around Twitter talking about screenwriting, but tonight I will be playing Ravina Bellstrom. She is an Antivan Wayfair rogue.
Awesome. Next up, we have Cody. Corey. Oh my God.
It's okay. It's okay. Hi, my name's Corey, everybody. I am going to be playing Brody tonight. He, him, or yeah, I guess you call me Cody if you like. It's whatever your prerogative is.
No, I will not. I got the two mixed up. I'm sorry, Corey.
I got it. I can see how it happened.
Got it. I was all ready to go too. All right. Next up, we have Jair.
Hi, I'm Jair, and I will be playing the service dwarf Nodus Tollins, a herbalistic thief.
Service dwarf, I love it. And last but not least, Petra.
Hi, I'm Petra Skelton, and I will be playing Red Chain, our Quinari mage, Sarabas. You can usually find me on Twitter as at Prepocalypse, where I'm usually just talking about a lot of tabletop stuff.
Great. Now that we've introduced everyone, let's dive right in. We'll start with a recap. So last episode, our friends gathered up at the barracks to actually try and find Varric, the Viscount, the current Viscount of Kirkwall. It took them to a lot of different locations, the Blooming Rose being one of them, where they then were redirected to go and take care of a Orlesian fence who seems to be funneling money for something dark and sinister, as our Tevinter mage actually found out. And we're actually going to find the results of that in their 15 minutes of fame right now. So, Mare. Or should I say Aurelia? Varric and Aveline have asked you just to keep an eye and just be close by and near in case any updates have come. This has been like a couple of days for everyone's general knowledge. So a couple of days have gone by. Very little to no activity. Aurelia, you would have gotten a message actually directly from Aveline to come to the barracks for a very important meeting to discuss the findings in there. Since you seem to be the resident Teventer that they can, pull research from, they've decided to bring you into the barracks. As you walk in, you're then actually escorted by Varric Seneschal, who actually takes you to his office. As you walk in, you see there are papers strewn about his desk. Behind him is one of those like slit little windows that look out into the rest of the city. Nothing has changed since the previous Viscount has been there. Decor sort of remains the same. Kirkwall insignias all remain throughout the wall there. Varric looks like he's had very little sleep, still has his house coat on, and his Viscount sort of like circlet is tilted to one side, as if he was sort of slapdashed this together. Aveline constantly always looks ready to go and looks like not a single thing has been disheveled, but both of them look like they've had very little sleep and they're heavy bags under their eyes. As you walk in, both of them look up and they greet you with very tired smiles.
Viscount, Guard Captain. I hope this is still a good time.
Absolutely. Varric, if you need to go and get more sleep, I mean, by all means, do so. And Varric sort of just goes from looking at the paper and then looking at Aurelia and then goes, oh yeah, late night, and maybe still a little hungover from last night. I'm just gonna go to bed. Aveline, you have all the information that you need there. I'm just gonna go nurse my headache. Forgive me, Aurelia. I wanted to be here for this, but I'm just gonna.
Understandable. Take your time. Good. Enjoy your nap.
He absolutely takes his sweet time making his way there. Seneschal then just sort of guides him along, just like, there. And he's just like, don't patronize me. This has happened before. I'll just take a pill and I'll go to sleep. At that point, the doors close and it's just you and Aveline over the strewn things of paper. But she seems to know what to pick up, and she looks over and guides you over to the table. We've been looking into the symbol that that you brought to our attention, and that is Tevinter. I'm wondering, is there any sort of working knowledge that you might know of this symbol already?
I do recall in my schooling, we were made familiar with the numerous bits of heraldry and, of course, Tevinter history. And I just know that I recalled that this is one of the older Magister symbols.
How old are we talking here?
You know how when you typically think of those from Tevinter and the bad light were cast in, there's usually a handful that come to mind. It seems like one of those.
Are you perhaps referring to the part in the Chant of Light where Tevinter Magisters entered the Golden City? And
yeah,
old?
That old. From my understanding, it seems to be from an order of following one of those particular magisters.
Of course it is.
It's so
I thought Corypheus was the only one of the old magisters that they had a cult following.
Well, okay, so Corypheus, as I'm sure you know, among groups, sometimes some stand out as leaders, even though some of the others did the work. This is one of the ones that did the work, and he did leans in a little closer, even though they're the only ones in the room. Blood magic. He's
wonderful.
Yeah. So, and storyteller, this is the information that I had from before within our conversation. Is this one of the ones I would do a roll on?
Let's actually do a roll on this one.
Okay, I just wanted to double check. Yes.
Yeah, we'll do a history roll on this one because what you have said so far, absolute working knowledge. This is what you came in with.
This is what I would have definitely come into here with. Yeah, right. I didn't want to put the blood magic before the horse, you know? So,
wait a minute.
Sorry. What I meant was, okay, so we're working with my historical cunning, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. So and just for me, because I will forget every single time, because goldfish even have more of a memory than I do. I have the memory of a turnip. We're rolling 3d6. One of them is a different color.
See, that is
okie doke. All right, here we go. That is going to be a total of 12 with a 5 on the dragon die.
Okay.
So that's 12. Drop 5 on the dragon die, and then I add the bonus there. So it's going to be a total of 16.
Perfect. There we go. So you also recall that actually you've reached out to some of your folks as well, and you do have actually a note from Magister Pavis, funnily enough. Good old Dorian. Pulling up the rear there. He's good
hair
at that.
Toss.
Anyway. With the notes that also Aveline has from her sources, you're able to both of you piece out piece together that it is the name of the Magister in particular is Brutus Acacius. Brutus Acacius is one of those ones that's actually kind of been omitted from the Chant of Light, mostly because the acts that he committed to get into the Golden City. In the actual thing as well, there's two different individuals. There was Corypheus, who I think went by the name Sethius. If anyone on Dragon Age Wiki wants to take a look at this, it's actually in there. Corypheus's real name was Sethius. Sethius something or other. I don't remember but his first name was that. He was the one who first got the knowledge of actually going into the Golden City. Another one, actually one who's gotten actually communication from a different elder god who got whispers of how to enter the actual Golden City. Magister Acacius actually committed the acts of blood magic and blood sacrifices and took on the name the Purger of Filth. It has been said, and to your knowledge, and you're able to actually piece together this, because this is actually not necessarily Chantry lore that comes in. This is actually Tevinter history turned into folklore, because if it's folklore, it's not real and it's therefore not part of the history. That's at least what your working knowledge is of Tevinter trying to change and update their history by changing some facts into fiction. It has been said in some of these tales that there are so many at one point, so many blood magic rituals committed by Magister Acacius that the streets of Minrathous ran red with elven blood. All of which was to enter the Fade and into the Golden City, which, as things have been confirmed through actually Chantry lore itself, or through the Chant of Light itself, when the Magisters entered, they found that the seat was barren and were then cast out into the Golden City. Some even say the Golden City then turned into, or was renamed the Black City because of its tainted nature now, because man had entered it. But that's all Chantry lore, and that's all Chantry. At that point in time.
That Chantry, right? Because
Chantry.
There's that Chantry, and then the Chantry, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway,
so yes. To sort of sum everything up, Magister Bruce Acacius, or Magister Acacius, is behind the symbol that he created, and this is the Order of Acacius, and the Acacians is what they would most likely call themselves.
Yes.
Piece together that this is the order that is, for some reason or other, gathering resources based on what you know. But what resources? All you know, and all you can see, is a lot of money is being sent out.
Okay.
What Aveline was able to piece together, at the very least, for at least a little bit of evidence, without going any further because of, well, legal reasons, being a guard captain and being part of the guard of the city, and not having actually reason to actually go investigate, is that there have been shipments that actually have led to the actual port in town. So something or other is being funneled out of the city, money-wise, financial-wise, and then something is being brought into Kirkwall, probably to be shipped elsewhere, because it wouldn't make sense to have any kind of a main base in the actual city proper.
Okay.
That's all that she has going for her there, and that is what she shares with you.
So in this being shared, and I'm sure that between the letters that I had received from Magister Pavus, and the leader of the Lucerne, the good Tevinters, because we do exist. We're pretty great, actually. Yeah, the Lucerne, we're kind of awesome. But even with explaining this and trying to understand it, there's like this sense of embarrassment is not quite the word, but it's tough to know that the thing you thought was a fairy tale and is like the worst of the worst among this is actually or at least being used as a real thing within the real world among us. So yes,
Aveline has a sense of that, looks you over, and then just has sort of a self-realization moment, and then just looks at you with just kindness and just, I can understand how you feel in this moment, but know that it does not color my judgment of you. And I certainly hope, as understanding as maybe your companions are, maybe they will see the same way. You are an individual in a new city from where you come from, but you are not a product of their belief. That's something I've come to learn very quickly when I first immigrated here, or actually came here on a refugee status, actually.
Mm.
If it makes you feel better.
That is a comfort in some ways. It can be trying at times, especially knowing what I have set out to do with this in particular, as well as the Order of the Lucerni, and just it carries some weight. But
I understand.
What we can hope, at least, hopefully this is the only ancient magister we should have to deal with in our time, or maybe someone who just found a nice old seal, stole it from someone, bought it from someone, and, praying to whoever you may pray to, that they're just using it for influence and not actually making it, a thing.
My concern, if I may express, is the moniker of the Purger of Filth. That frightens me because filth is a loose term that could mean anything. Purger usually means one who is willing to erase, eradicate, or destroy.
Another thing that makes me nervous is obviously the blood magic amongst it, but the use.
Oh, most definitely.
Oh, this understandably so. But the thought of the streets ran red with elven blood, it makes me wonder if there's something more sinister among that as far as what is being purged, what the filth is listed as. So, and I'm dreadfully curious as to what our dear Orlesian friend was doing involved in all of this as offense, and particularly as offense for the Carta. I would be very interested to find out. How they came into that, and if perhaps the Carta's leader knew of this or has any knowledge of this.
From what we're able to gather from the prisoner, who is still incarcerated because he's involved in something quite illegal, as a matter of fact, money laundering of any kind is illegal. So he's paying the full punishment of that and serving time, probably for the remainder of his lifetime. From what Varric was able to recall, because of his connections with Harmon, is that Harmon knew full well that Pascal is actually quite very knowledgeable in getting funds and making them bigger. He's a fence who has usually the ability to increase interest on someone's return. And the Carta, unfortunately, unlike most businesses and most things
that's very appealing in many ways.
It's appealing, and the Carta is funded by the funds that they receive or steal or whatever. But because there's a good relationship between us and the Carta, we look the other way, so long as they don't commit any illegal crimes in Kirkwall.
That's fair enough.
Huge, anyway.
Right. I'm dreadfully curious to see what exactly is coming in on these shipments.
As am I. I'm wondering. It's still, by the way, for a record, it's still sort of early-ish, like early morning, almost could be like going to afternoon, so like 11:30ish. Just like, I wonder if I could enlist your help, and as well as the help of your compatriots as well, once again.
I could certainly ask them, but I'm again,
of course,
curiosity killed the vent, they say.
Hopefully not. What I was going to ask you is if you and your compatriots could stake out the shipments. We found that there might be one tonight, but it isn't until quite late. You guys would have the day free to yourselves, but if you are able to, just to take a look, see what's going on unofficially, because unfortunately, as a guard and guard captain, I have no reason to issue a warrant because they've technically done nothing wrong. They've done
just a freelance observation, I suppose. Then
a passerby, by all means.
Yes. Absolutely.
curious vent, as you put it.
Oh, yes. So, all right. So we'll just stake that out, and I'm sure that among the paperwork is the information as far as the docking and the ship name, etc.
Yes.
All right.
What is expected to come in? What's the ship name number? If anything else that she's able to offer is there's not really too much. Again, if there's any kind of like writ or anything like that that ties into the guards, it's going to create a conflict of interest. So it's just best that she is distanced from this. She makes it very, very clear there's not much she can offer in the form of protection. But if it came down where guards were called, you'd be brought in, but she would do her best to make sure that you guys are able to at least literally slap on the hands. Don't do that again, and move on.
Perfect. All right.
And you also have an in with the Viscount as well. At the very least, you also have like a favor or any kind of like that from.
And as an absolute in the pinch, I think there's at least enough coin that we got to like say, us, please leave us alone.
Oh yeah,
merchants
merchants
love money.
That's true.
All right. So, well, thank you. This has been very enlightening. I will see if I can send a missive to the others and see, I don't know, what in the world they've been up to.
Well, from what I recall, you all took a room for the past couple of days in the Blooming Rose. Could be a communal area to meet.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I suppose I could try to meet with them. As terrifying as the prospect is of knocking on the door of one of the Kunari, knowing God knows all the gods know what may be happening behind that door.
I don't know. I kind of like them. They're pretty neat.
They have traits.
Spoken like a true Tevinter about a Kunari. Oh, I know. I won't keep you. I won't keep you. I have.
Thank you very much for your time.
And yes.
And with that, Aurelia would just kind of tilt her head, the tiniest of nod, curtsy, bowish type thing. She doesn't know what to do for a guard captain, and then makes her way out.
Evelyn would actually walk you out to the entrance because the barracks is on the way towards the entrance there, just down the stairs. And then further down the stairs is the barracks and the entrance. And she thanks you again. Actually, she just offers to shake your hand because she's just like, this is what we do. Yeah.
Aurelia does that, but has kind of this sort of hand motion. It's not a very firm hand grasp. It just like instead of it coming forward, it's more of a, oh, thank you. Oh, we're going sideways. Okay, that's fine too. I can do that as well.
And you part ways and head about.
Yes, to the Blooming Rose.
Before we meet up with everyone else actually is also going to get an opportunity to do something throughout the day. But there is an inevitable plan that's going to happen before we head to our break and then go into the night docks for the second half. So this first half, if everyone, I sort of put you all on the spot there, but I would like you all to roll 1d6 and let me know what you roll.
A 6.
A 6.
Of course.
I got a 1.
I also got a 1. You and me are buddies, man.
Partners.
And I am the odd person out because I got a 3.
Right in the middle.
All right, let's actually, you know what? Since we're on this path right now, we're going to start with Red Chain and Aurelia. Aurelia, since you didn't have that full scene, I am going to start with Red Chain first.
Please do.
You two will run into each other because you both got the same number. So, Red Chain, what does your day look like? There's been a bit of, it's going to sort of sync up to be a bit of time, and you head somewhere in the general direction or run into Aurelia at that point. But what do you do beforehand? What does your morning routine look like?
Well, so Red Chain got money and was finally able to A, drink, and B, eat solid food. So I don't know that she's left the brothel yet. Like, I don't think she's left at all. So yeah, she's probably sleeping in just like a little bit, trying to get rid of a hangover. Like yeah. So just room is a little bit of a mess. Just kind of like half lying on a bed, just eyes shut, wanting everything to be a little quieter.
I'm going to say there's actually maybe a tiny rap on the door. It's a tiny rap. They intended it to be tiny, but you have a hangover. An elephant has just pounded on the door.
Mashadon. Red Channel stood up. Yeah, come in.
The door sort of opens very, very quietly, and a short-haired, spiky-haired elven male actually sticks his head in, and he looks around and goes, Sirrah Red Chain?
Yeah.
It's really dark in here.
Oh,
Hello?
yeah. Sorry, that's by design. One moment. Red Chain's gonna kind of stumble up, light a candle, turn a lamp, all that, and just kind of stand there.
Painful light that just stabs at your eyes. It hurt. It hurt.
Yes. Can I help you?
Yes, the bartender wants to give you this. He lost the bet that you couldn't drink as much as he did. And he said if he passed out, I was supposed to give this to you.
All right. She's gonna she'll
20.
take it. Okay.
20.
Okay.
Yeah, you aren't the only one that bet on that and lost the bet. So now pool's yours.
Okay, well, thanks. Sorry, you are
Oscar.
Oscar. Thank you for bringing this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to sleeping off my hangover. And then Red Chain kind of looks down at herself and goes, and I should probably find some clothes.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
No, it's fine.
If you don't mind my saying, actually, it's quite a nice view, actually.
Thanks.
Very well maintained. I'm gonna go.
Okay. Just slowly close the door, trying to make as little noise as possible, but the moment it just like clanks closed, you just like
It's that click at the end.
Okay. And going back to the bed, just gonna fall right back down. Face down. Yep.
We're gonna stay in this time. Actually, Aurelia, you make it back to the Blooming Rose at this point in time. No one else seems to be awake at this point in time, or everyone else seems to be out. But for whatever reason, your first inclination is to go up to Red Chain's room and knock on that door. You don't know why. You just seem, it's almost like you both rolled a die and it came out the same number.
I bet, honestly, I think that Aurelia probably thought it was Ravina's room. And then probably just like, Ravina, darling, just kind of like, knock, kind of trying to go in. And is the door unlocked?
Absolutely.
Okay, because I have this terrible feeling that Aurelia is not someone who knocks and waits for an answer.
Oh my God.
With all entitlement that she's ever had, she just knock, Ravina, darling, just oh my stars!
No.
Oh, where's Ravina? What?
Please stop yelling. Oh my God. Please stop yelling. Please stop yelling. Please stop. One moment. And so Red Chain, and by the way, she didn't douse the light, so the light's still on. Red Chain will just stand up, grab the covers, cover herself loosely and just go, what? What is it?
I was looking for Ravina. But technically I can tell you too.
2 rooms down, for the record.
Okay, good to know. Are you okay?
Oh, I was just hung over. Wait, which one are you? You're the... Oh, right.
What do you mean, which one? You're not mistaking me for the...
So, Red Jade's not going to catch that at all and just be like,
You're just mistaking for
my mistake.
Anyway, as she's sitting there just looking anywhere other than, it's just, anyway, I thought you should know that we have some information about the seal. I've spoke with the guard captain. We may or may not be going to find whatever stuff is coming in on a ship sometime this evening. But we have time during the day to, I don't know, do whatever it is you do during the day now.
I was just enjoying myself. Am I not allowed to do that?
There's a slight blanching, thinking that Aurelia is pretty certain Aurelia's vision right now of just which one are you makes her wonder just how many of the roses Red Chain has smelled since coming to the Blooming Rose.
Red Chain has very little money left, for the record. So it's literally the thought of Red Chain kind of cracks her neck.
Aurelia has this moment of just kind of tugging things up a little bit. Well, if you can find it in your schedule, this is the time we should be meeting downstairs. I'm going to tell the others because this seems as though, since we were all there with it, and the guard captain has asked us, and they have been very kind to us, to go and investigate this a little bit further. I know that you would probably love nothing more than to find something about some spooky vents and what they're doing in the city, so that if there was at least one Tevinter's head you could bash in, we can find one for you that's not mine. I'm going to go now.
One second. It was Aurelia, right?
Oh, I'm leaving. And Aurelia just fully offended that no one knows exactly who she is. And after having just been traumatized, does that thing where she's so startled she doesn't know whether it's a push or pull door.
Okay, wait, then I have something that Red Chain does. So, struggling with that, Red Chain, fully unbothered from being completely nude, fully enjoying how, just dithering your character is right now, will just walk over, real close, open the door, and gesture for you to leave.
And Aurelia's going to walk out of the room, still kind of just adjusting herself, very much blushing. In this time frame.
And then Red Chain, before she closes the door, is just going to say, kind of feel like I should have been paid for that. And then just close the door. And she will get dressed and then go downstairs.
As you close the door and as you start getting dressed, you also then realize, oh, Oscar was from the other night. Like Celine Dion, it's all coming back to you now.
Me for an Oscar.
To be fair, no, I've got nothing.
To be fair, what?
I was like,
to be fair, what, Cornari?
what?
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 What is it, Will Wheaton? What is it?
I love this. Great.
Okay,
Oh man,
sorry.
I was expecting this kind of interaction in like episode 3 or 4, but this is wonderful. Thanks, guys.
Oh my god!
All right.
And then the hallways are completely empty, and no one saw any of that.
I really hope Ravina was just hanging out in her door.
Ravina, you're next. you do hear a conversation that happens in the hallway that kind of stirs you awake. And you also do hear a couple of closings of the door, and you wonder, what the heck are people doing at this time of day that they're opening and closing doors, and you're hearing this right now? I'll let you take from here. What do you do? Oh, you're muted. I can't hear you.
Better?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, so Ravina's not in her room. Ravina has currently detangled herself from a pair of male and female twins and is heading to her room.
As you do detangle yourself, of course, they kind of shift and just moan, and just a little smile just curls up on their lips from memories of the previous night or really good dreams that they're having, but they're out completely. You get that sort of sense of feeling of just like, hey, I did that.
Yes. Obviously, I'm just going to leave the money on the table with a little note that says, if you're up for it later tonight, with a little question mark and a smiley face with like hearts for eyes. And then she's going to head towards her room so she can clean up and prepare for the day.
Cool. You just see Aurelia just storm away from a slowly closing door that you now realize is Red Chain's room.
Trouble in paradise.
Oh, Mary, you're muted.
Struggle.
It's the struggle.
Everyone
It
here
is
is muted. I'm getting good
struggle.
shit,
I
but
got
man.
it. I can get back there. Okay. Oh, Ravina, thank the stars I found you. I've just seen the most terrifying thing.
Oh, goodness, what happened?
I thought I was going into your room, and I went into the wrong one.
Oh, it wasn't the room with the goat, was it?
Anyway, so I just came back from Guard Captain Aveline, and I need to find the crew, but now I'm very certain that this is the wrong hour to be doing any of those things.
Well, I think if we try to find Nodis, it will be safe.
Oh, why didn't I think of that first? He's probably out in the garden.
Yes.
Oh, bless. But anyway, and she would kind of, starting to compose herself and calming down, explain briefly just the concept of magisters bad, people making cult, blood magic scary, and stakeout at the docks.
I'm sorry, at the where?
I know, but at the docks, I'm certain. Look, if your shipments come through, you certainly came through within one of them to
Yes, but I don't stay there. We have people for these sorts of things.
Well, unfortunately for Guard Captain Aveline, we are the people for these sorts of things right now.
How much are they paying us?
It's the Guard Captain and Viscount Varick, so.
Oh, well, that's fair.
I mean,
so
I figured
one of us who has at least, the majority of their funds left is Nodis.
Oh, poor dear. Anyway,
he'll figure it out.
He will. It seems that how about your funds? I noticed that I heard that you were 2 rooms down from there, and it seems I guess you've been having fun. Have you found some favorite flowers?
Oh, yes. Absolutely dazzling. These 2 are growing from the same stem.
Oh, how wonderful. I do love botany.
Is fantastic.
So anyway, I'm certain that you will probably want to get yourself ready for the day. I'll see perhaps if we could find Brody or Nodis, and essentially if perhaps by the midday meal we would all be recovered from the evening enough to at least go over the more minutia of what we're up to tonight.
Well, I suppose so long as they're paying us, I don't mind, but I do have other reasons for being here.
Oh, well, Then if there's anything I can assist you with, of course, you've become as close as to a dear friend as we can manage in these parts. Am I right?
Absolutely. I'll let you know. Oh, as much as fun as I had last night, I do need to go wash it all off.
Understandable. Well, there's always more nights to come.
Let's hope so.
Next up, we have Nodis. Brody, you're not too far behind, but we are going to do one player at a time. I'm not going to bounce you both at the same time. So, Nodis, where would he be? And also, how early would he get up?
Well, so I feel like Nodis is the kind of person who would wake up like pretty early, like maybe like as the sunrise is like coming up. I would imagine that he would most likely go, whether it's a place that he can purchase it or if he's able to go somewhere to find some like herbs or things to sort of like cultivate for his own practices. So I would imagine that was probably like a really early day thing that sort of took up most of his time, and so maybe he's like walking back to the Blooming Rose, sort of like that midway walk, coming back with his bag filled with whatever he found or purchased.
Yeah, if anything, you would have gone out actually into the wild because ain't nothing cheaper than free.
Exactly.
And also you also have the herbology knowledge to know what you have. You have a crap ton of elf fruit because that thing grows like weeds around this area here.
Mhm.
There is actually an inside joke that the Inquisitor, in fact, has a problem with elf fruit, but we're not going to get into that today. That's his problem or his or her problem. But yes, you have a crap ton of elf fruit. Some death root in there as well. Can't cure poison without having the thing that makes the poison first, or make an anti-venom without the venom. You know what I mean? So,
right.
And you have a few things to make a few poultices for either the group, for yourself, or even to sell as well. You find the commute though that you're now actually living as opposed to the edge of the woods where you were living with you and your father out in the woods near far out there. It's actually a quicker commute to actually be coming from Kirkwall itself into where there's a lot of herbs there as well. As you are making your way in, actually sort of just as you're actually getting right back to where the Blooming Rose is, you see Stan, who you met in the previous episode. And they greet you in the morning. They have a big, huge, floppy sun hat, and they're just like,
yeah. If I do see them, I will wave and say, "Oh, good morning. Are there if there are any birds around, Nodis would definitely try and like have them follow him, kind of thing, or like if they perch near him or whatever. So he always, if there is a bird, he does a little whistle to like mimic their sort of like call and hope that they would like fly over towards him."
Cool. Let's give you a cunning nature lore for this one here. That you're just honing your Disney princess abilities and summoning a bird.
So I got 12 and a 5 on the dragon die.
Cool. Your first couple of whistles come out a little bit dry. You haven't had anything to drink yet. Excuse me. But once you do finally just give your lips a quick lick, and then you're just like able to whistle out as some kind of bird call, some simple little bird whistle. And two little brave little bluebirds actually fly down near a bush next to you, and they look at you cursory, just like, did he make that noise? Did he make that noise?
Yeah, and I'll sort of do this in front of them, just so that way they kind of like see the whole situation occur, and say, a lot of people don't know this, but if you're able to do the sort of call of any kind of bird, they tend to come closer. Of course, you have to be calm with them. You can't try to startle them or anything.
Do you offer like a hand out to one of the birds or anything like that?
Absolutely.
Cool. Flat palm out, and just demonstrating just how cool and calm and collected you are with that 12 roll as well. You have like the most steadiest heartbeat of probably everyone in the entire party, I'm sure. But one of them thinks there's food and just immediately goes from curiosity, was that him? Ooh! And then just hops into your hand. You legit have one bluebird in your hand.
And I just sort of like slowly gesture it over to Stan, I believe you said their name were?
Yes. And they walk over, and they if you take even a look, just like a little like flex move on your part, just like, yeah, You see Stan's face just absolutely light up with glee, curiosity, and just sheer wonder. As they actually attempt to hold a hand out to the bird in front of you, in your hand, and is just like, calm, calm. And I'm going to roll because I want to roll too. Okay. Not as good. Unfortunately, the two birds do fly off because they are scared by Nodis's height, unfortunately. And a little bit of a shadow is cast from their big floppy hat. So the birds unfortunately do take flight and fly away.
Nodis just kind of smiles and just does a little chuckle.
Sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. Honestly, like I said, most birds would be cautious anyway. I'm sure they were just a little startled, but don't worry. I hope your morning has been well. I hope I wasn't disturbing and he kind of just looks at whatever it was they were doing.
Oh, not at all. I'm just taking care of the aphids at this point in time.
Oh,
the ones
okay.
going after the flowers. They're great for bugs, but they're not good for the actual foliage itself.
Understandable. Yeah, I just came back from harvesting some herbs that I was able to find nearby. It's always nice to wake up very early in the morning in order to sort of collect everything as fast as one can.
Yeah, before anyone else comes in. Also, the crisp morning airs here in Kirkwall are actually really, really nice.
Very nice.
Well, I should get back to work then.
I should probably go inside as well. And so he just turns and says, I'll talk to you later, and then walks inside.
Anytime. I look forward to it. Brody, what you up to? Freaking adorable. Thank you. Thank you.
Brody is going to be exiting a Rose's room and kind of just be like, that's what that's like. Holy, this was great. I had no idea. And just big grin, pep in his step. He's going to start heading back to his own room.
I'm going to rename this episode The Entire Party Breaks the Storyteller because y'all are killing me here. Yeah, you are definitely very much in a good mood there. Nodis, as you come in, you see a very, very much grinning from ear to ear Brody, and yeah.
Was I able to see the room that he came out of? Or did I notice that he came out of a room?
I'm gonna say, what room did you come out of, Brody?
Dealer's choice on the room. That I don't think it would have mattered to Brody really. So,
sorry, but do you head back to your room or do you head back into the common area? Where is your route?
I think he would like to try to celebrate with at least one cup of wine or ale. So yeah, I think he's gonna try to head down to the common room there.
Okay, so you do see Brody actually head from a room. You're not really sure where his room was, but he comes from a room going into this main sort of common area near the bar where you do see the bartender actually looking like worse for the wear, but sees Brody coming down and just immediately just pours something while he pours a hot something for himself and just gingerly just drinks something from almost a ceramic mug of some kind.
So I see Nodis down there as well.
Yes, you do.
I'll go up to the bartender. Oh, thank you. Thanks for the drink. I appreciate it. And I slip him some coins.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how this
go
works
back
yet.
in the back. I'm just gonna go back in the back where it's dark. Help yourselves. You guys are. You're fine.
Oh, I've never been able to pour my own. That'd be great. Thank you. Nodis!
Don't make a mess.
Brody,
Nodis, how's it going?
I am doing well. Did you just wake up?
No.
No. Oh, well, were you just in your room the whole time relaxing?
No, that wasn't my room. And it was kind of relaxing, a little athletic, and a lot of fun.
Well, that sounds absolutely amazing. I just came back from, and he shows some of the herbs that he has in his little bag or whatever. He says, I found some lovely herbs that I hope to be able to use for uh, medical needs. Um, Also, I saw some birds, and I believe I saw a few deers on the way here. It was amazing.
That sounds fantastic. In the city? I didn't even know that was possible. That's great.
Well,
I unfortunately I was never very good at the potion craft of, what I did. So like those herbs look great.
what exactly did you do? Have you done?
Oh, I studied in the circle in Ferelden.
Oh,
Be kind of, before and after the almost annulment and uh things like that. So yeah, it was, a lot of studying,
oh, okay. So
a
you're
lot of
able to
reading.
use magic.
Yes, I am a mage. Yes, I passed my harrowing and everything. And I've been having great adventures ever since.
Well, that is amazing. I don't think I've ever met anyone that can use magic before. Is it
Oh,
hard to like
Nodis,
use?
sorry to interrupt, guys. Nodis, I'm gonna get you to roll just a cunning, straight cunning, sort of like a
Okay.
knowledge check.
All right.
Because I mean, I know what he's spitting, but like Brody knows what he's spitting as well, but like does Nodis?
Yeah. I got a 6, an 8, and then a 2 on the dragon.
Okay. From what you know, from not even actually being a dwarf and also having absolutely no magic whatsoever or experience with magic whatsoever, because dwarf, um, you're not too sure what the word harrowing means per se. You're not sure what annulment means, but Brody has some kind of like has something behind his eyes when he says, annulment and I passed my harrowing. You feel that those carry some weight for him and those mean something to him. Annulment doesn't seem very, very good, and harrowing does sound exactly what it sounds like. Harrowing. Continue.
Nodis won't really like. He's just gonna nod and like make it seem as if he knows exactly what he's talking about, and just he doesn't want to be rude and be all like, I don't know what the heck you're talking about, And so he's just like,
You
amazing.
could.
I completely understand.
Oh, that's fantastic. I don't get to talk a lot about certain aspects of my past because of, well, first off, Templars. But it's a thing.
You are familiar with the term apostate mage, and also that Templars don't like apostate mages, and you make the assumption that maybe Brody is an apostate mage. So all that makes sense.
Well, I definitely want you to know that if you ever wish to share anything, I am always an open door available to talk to.
Oh, that's great. Same for you. What have you been up to? This has been fun in the Blooming Rose. It's been a great time.
I mean, other than the name being a bit misleading, I do have to agree with you.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, no, I understand. Not a lot of flowers in this place.
Yes, only outside. Stan takes
Yeah,
very good care of them. I don't know if you've met Stan. They are the gardener here. Very nice, very nice.
I have not had the opportunity to meet them.
He then sort of looks down and says, "Well, to answer your question, um, other than herbs, one thing that I do hope to accomplish one day is to open up an herb shop here in Kirkwall."
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
I want. No, go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
uh, yeah, I was just hoping to open something like that up, only because it's good to teach people how important nature is in not only, you know, making everything happen, but how you can use it to heal ailments. People do need that knowledge, and I think it'd be something very important.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? We've met the Viscount. You're becoming fast friends, I'm sure, with him, and I'm sure he could help like get your business started here. If you need any help, let me know. You know.
Absolutely. I do hope it works out. I mean, I'm sure it will. A lot of people have two options in their lives. Either they know exactly what they're meant to do, or they may not have an exact future, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. Sometimes people who don't have sort of a future, that just means that they have so many possibilities that they could have or choose from,
I'm gonna write that down. Oh shoot! I left my writing utensils in the scroll upstairs. I'll have to write that. We're gonna have to talk about this again. This is great. This is great.
Okay.
You're giving me so much good information here.
And Nodis just like nods and just is happy with this.
Aurelia, you make your way down the stairs.
And Mare has to pretend like she didn't just hear all of this and have to just go somehow back into being crazy-eyed Vint. Oh my god. Okay. All right. Heading down the stairs and just oh good. Nodis, Brody. Oh, thank goodness. I thought I was gonna have to go knock on more doors around here. No telling what you can see within.
That was a lot of fun. I last night I knocked on a few doors. And I was surprised by every single one of them.
You did?
Well, yeah, I got a little lost. It's fine though. We got back where I need to go.
I apparently heard there's a goat room. I have yet to see this so-called goat room, but it's apparently around.
I didn't hear about the goat room.
Apparently. I honestly was surprised when they said there would be roses here. Technically there are outside. So I'm sure there is this goat somewhere in this building. Oh, I hope to see them.
I'm certain that you can. There's all sorts of horned creatures around. Anyway, so I have some news. And we have another task to do for the guard captain. Remember how that I thought that I recognized the sigil that was on the papers that we found in the guy's house, the guy with all the money. The Orlesian, and she does like mask face, which is just for her, like the universal sign for Orlesian.
Oh yes, Pascal, I believe his name was.
Yes.
How is he doing? Is he doing okay?
He's arrested.
Did he ever wake up?
He did, so he is safe from the Carta.
That's good.
He is with the guard captain, so don't worry about him too much. That being said, we did some research, and the guard captain learned a little bit more about what we might be dealing with that, and it might be a little bit of a bigger thing than we thought.
Bigger thing? In what way exactly?
It's not just some Orlesians in the Carta with money. You're familiar with mages, right? In general, right? Not
Yes.
Oh,
and he doesn't do an exact but he doesn't do. It's more like a.
And same there. So, and you are you familiar with where I'm from, Tevinter?
I would still love to hear about it anyway.
So about that. Well, where I'm from.
We could smash cut to the afternoon meeting if we all want.
Yes, that would be great. Yeah. Aurelia is now realizing she's going to have to explain blood magic to the most innocent creature on the planet. And
so again, we're back at the board there of just like, conspiracy board.
Yeah, the crazy board with all the...
Yeah. Aurelia is just like in the back of her mind, business idea, children's book to explain blood magic.
B is for blood magic.
B is for magic. M is for magister.
E is for elves. No, I'm kidding.
C is for Corypheus.
A is for architect. No, I'm kidding.
We could go. Oh, that's a whole episode. That's a whole side episode on this.
That's a whole DLC. Thank you very much.
There we go. The DLC for the game. Yeah. So I imagine that during that,
you guys all meet together. You actually have actually, Aurelia, just for sake of organization's sake and just for privacy's sake, since you're not having this huge conversation out in the open, you've asked Lucine for sort of a side office big enough for you guys. And there is a very nicely maintained, clean office area for you to discuss. Not unlike the one that Harlan was in, but this one's not Harlan's office per se. It is just a space for you guys. This is like your designated office for you guys. Your office space, if you will. You've all gathered, you've all sat how you would like to sit. And yes, Aurelia, you're sort of at the head-ish of the table. And any way you'd like to narrate it, even third person narrate it, just for the sake of expediency, take it away.
Okay, so Aurelia will make eye contact with absolutely everyone but Red Chain, just to start. Oh my god, my lungs can't handle this. So she does that, and every now and then she makes those kind of things. Just it's going about explaining it, has some of the papers, some of the copies, some of the letters from before, and explains it. I also would just like, with Hire's permission, in some time in that period, Aurelia very carefully tried to explain, while painting Tevinter in not the worst light ever, but also not technically lying, about how sometimes bad people do bad things and it kind of breaks the entire world. But
I actually want Red Chain and Aurelia to make actually cunning rolls for that one there.
Really?
Just to be able to read it. But for Aurelia to explain it in a way that is not in a bad light, it's a little bit tricky.
Oh god.
Knowing full well that you have a full-blown Qunari in the room with you as well, who is going through their knowledge and going like, okay.
Oh god.
They're
Okay.
literally fact-checking as you're
So it's like a cunning historical, I'm guessing.
for both of you, it's a whatever your cunning bonus is.
Okay,
if
just
you
what the
have
cunning
bonus
bonus
for
is.
history, if you have a history in there,
Okay.
it's a +1, but if not, totally cool.
Okay,
It's just
I
what the
do.
rating is.
And Nadas is just like a sponge who's just going to absorb all this, whatever information is going to be told him.
Okay, so what did you roll?
I rolled a 14 and a 6 on the dragon die.
Oh god. Okay.
Okay.
Because I rolled a I rolled a 12, but it's plus my cunning, so that would be a 16 with a 4 on the dragon die.
Okay. Both of you
Oh,
rolled
no.
really good. I'm gonna go with the dragon die roll, and thank you for each telling me what your dragon die roll is. There are a few things, Red Chain, that Aurelia has brought up. She has brought them up, and there is no hiding the fact. She doesn't hide anything or leave anything out. She sugarcoats it, but then she's also, as she's sugarcoating it, she's looking directly at Naudis, who, as you can tell, is just wide-eyed and is a sponge, just soaking everything up. So there may be a few things you might need to fact check and correct with Naudis on his own, but it's not anything glaring, and it's not anything that is sinister about it. Like, they are being pretty open about it. And there is, from what you can tell anyways, when Aurelia expresses her feelings about this, you do sense that there's not pride behind this. There is no pride behind it whatsoever. She is expressing history, and also how the history is being changed and it's being fictionalized. It doesn't make you any more mad at her. It does sort of like inform your hatred to Tevinter per se. And you're starting to see how not comfortable Aurelia is in their skin when they mentioned Tevinter. And that will stick with you.
Okay, so I'm going to say that Red Chain, it would be clear to Aurelia if she's paying any attention, or anyone at the table is paying attention to Red Chain in this moment. Red Chain clearly has moments where it's like, okay, I could interject, I could do something, I could say something, and like looks at Aurelia for a second and then doesn't. And like it comes up multiple times and just keeps not doing it.
And Aurelia, you do catch that, and you do catch those moments. But
I catch the hand movements, but not the eye contact.
Red Chain is absolutely giving you the floor to be able to do so. And
Cool.
it's not anything that I'm making up on your behalf or anything like that.
Mhm.
If Aurelia is fully expressing how she feels, then Aurelia is fully expressing how she feels. And there's nothing hidden, I assume.
Exactly.
Also.
Yeah, no,
so
exactly.
you're not hiding anything. Yeah.
She's explaining it. She's trying to put it there. And I guess that she's starting to feel a little like protective of Nodis within this, just because the world is too pretty to Nodis, and Aurelia could not stand being the person who takes that away from him.
Nodis, you will have gained at least some knowledge, but not enough to say you have an additional cunning in there for at least what blood magic is. Cunning blood magic. But I will say that you can put in at this point in time, or even later after that you get cunning like magic lore. So you now have a working knowledge of magic, specifically blood magic. Blood magic bad.
Got it.
All other kinds of magic, good. Blood magic bad.
So now Nodis can be more confident in his nod next time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess overall the whole concept of at least like the big things that she would want to take away would be what we're looking for. Sorry, the laughter like just jostled all of my insides. That the big thing we're looking for are the Acacians, the order of Acacius. Like, so that word showing up. So even if the folks just remember like the A guy, and especially that it's kind of like a culty kind of thing trying to form, and that from the information that we have from Aveline, that is what we're doing, staking out the ship. Because if the money was going out, something is coming into Kirkwall, and anything with, as we've learned, blood magic bad, we want to make sure that we minimize what's happening here.
If we do find anything, are we reporting it? Are we putting the boats to Vought? What are we doing?
While
really, you would know that Aveline would have said so because storyteller forgot. But Aveline would have told you to, as best as you could and without getting caught, find out what it is and report. You're not to intervene, you're not to cause violence, but you are to report what it is that's being shipped in. If anyone gives you any information, that information is also handy as well. It's worth questioning, but again, no violence.
Right.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
And I will also say as well, because I forgot to mention it as well, Aveline would have also mentioned that any and all information will give you a handsome reward for each of you.
Yes.
You are getting paid.
Yes. So she would relay all that information, and also very much being like, yes, so no violence. It's merely a reconnaissance situation. They're aware of the name of the ship number. They're aware of the name of the dock number. They're aware of the name of the ship number. It's just that because there's no true reason for the guard captain to be investigating this, that where this is as they say, off the books for them.
Well, this does seem very serious.
It is pretty serious, I'm afraid. But the good news is that then once we're done, and she looks over to Brody specifically, we should be paid handsomely enough to continue enjoying our time here at the Blooming Rose.
That would be fantastic. I like that. And also, I would like to talk to you sometimes and compare the notes that I have on Teventer from my studies, and I think that would be great.
Sorry.
Make sure you compare it with me and not with Red Chain.
That is fair. That is fair. My time with the Teventer was spent, 10 years prior to this point. So,
Oh, well, when you were in Teventer?
no. It's my experiences when I was part of a group.
What?
Sounds very
Not
mysterious.
Interventor. Not Interventor. I did not. I've never. Well, I dabbled a little bit in Interventor, but not too much. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. We'll compare notes later. We gotta focus on what we're doing.
Brody
I
does have
didn't
a
write
point.
this.
What?
I didn't write this.
Really is the epitome of just the sus eyes at it. It's like, okay, I'm interested to seeing some of your notes. I guess Brody, you were in a circle, right?
I was.
I know circles are, they've been ovaling, shaping, however they are. Your circles are different than my circles, but that's besides the point. Anyway, so your studies, what did you focus on? I'm curious now.
I focus mainly on spirit magic and arcane lore. So deep diving into old magics and stuff like that. So
Then maybe you will have notes that will be helpful with this. This is very old magic, old magisters even. So
Actually, Brody, do you want to do just a if you have that, can you definitely do a cunning roll for me? And add a +1 for your knowledge if you have arcane lore. I should know. I have your character sheet somewhere.
that was 15 with a 4 on the dragon.
It's some obscure knowledge because it's Ferelden, and if Ferelden has its in most other places other than Teventer have their biases against the Teventer, that blood magic bad. Pretty much seems to be the going theme here. But there is some obscure knowledge that you might be able to compare and or impress Aurelia with.
oh. So yeah, I actually and Aurelia is actually like kind of interested within it because she is highly invested in these things coming up now. Well, yeah, no, we should certainly compare notes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
No, I'm gathering information, more information. That's what I'm more interested in.
Oh, so well then perhaps as we find stuff, you're good at compiling it. Maybe you could help write the reports. I hate writing reports.
Oh, I'd be glad to. Sounds great.
Oh, perfect. It's just like the group work we did in school. Everyone has their task. I'm of course management, but anyway, okay, so it seems we still have some time before the ship is set to arrive. I suppose any preparations we would need to make, anything, I don't know, some shopping. I haven't gone shopping in Kirkwall yet. I'm not entirely certain what to expect.
I was going to say, if anyone wants to take actually just a quick action to be able to buy anything or make or craft anything, now is your time to do so. I'm going to give each of you a shot. We're going to kind of go in order that we went with the morning routines. We are going to start with Aurelia. Is there anything that you do prior to the evening?
Yes. So
to prepare per se.
Right. And that's kind of what I'm taking a little look at. But since this is my first time playing in the system, I didn't know coming from, other dragony systems that are out there within the magic, there's no need to prepare spells necessarily in this system. No. Okay,
there
great.
You have access to the spells that you have available to you on your sheet. There's
Beautiful.
No need for you to prepare them. I mean, if you want to just be like, okay, I prepare something. I have maybe a few like pouches or something like that.
Like poof,
some additional
smoke,
lyrium
like some
to make
smoke
it more
bomb, right?
something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
I know I sort of put you on
Yeah.
the spot first.
No. It's fine. It's I can't I proposed the idea. I feel like some of it would be like kind of her kind of maybe even going into the shops, and if anyone's kind of just kind of listening, I guess, would
Okay.
be something she would want to do. I mean, if people in Kirkwall have noticed anything lately,
Sure.
just kind of eavesdrop about town.
How about you give me a cunning roll, and this will be your action for the day. Just some
Perfect.
daytime recon.
Beautiful. So I rolled a total of 5 plus my art cunning, which is 4. So that's a total of 9 with a 1 on the dragon die.
You get a lot of information about some really adorable dwarf that was walking through town very, very early in the morning.
Oh my god.
There's a lot of talking about that individual, and I wasn't sure. He was heading to the Blooming Rose. How's a sweet, innocent thing like that have such a place full of debauchery?
Wonderful.
You
Really,
kind of
it's
get
just,
nothing to add, but that's pretty much it.
so just kind of keep hearing that, and even when she just wants to stop and have like a cup of tea after like trying to listen in and hear stuff, keeps hearing that, and it's just like, my god, is he getting a fan club? Just
Pat just put in our chat, Nodus equals pod of GOT.
it's Podrick.
Podrick.
Perfect.
Fucking Podrick.
I'm thrilled by that. But yeah, so
Pat.
Aurelia is, I guess, perhaps still a little distracted and thinking of the night, like just not gathering anything of use while out and about town. But hey, getting some fresh air and not looking people in the eyes if they're over 7 feet tall.
I will say also, each of you as well keeps in mind that this is a night activity as well. So I will actually give you something to improve your stealth at the very least. Aurelia, despite everything that's gone out there, you're able to actually find, because of your, I'm going to go with your role as well, because you were mostly distracted in trying to get information, you do manage to find some piece of fabric that you can put over your face so that it masks you, so you're not easily identifiable or recognized at night. So if there is any kind of stealth rolls or anything like that, or any kind of dexterity rolls, it'll be dexterity rolls for you guys.
Okay, that was about to be my next question.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So any kind of stealth in that regards there, or dexterity roll, you will get a +1. Just for the face covering. It's also very Tevinter. Well, they have a lot of like head scarves and face coverings, so this is very comfortable for you. Next up, Red Chain. What's the action? What's an action that you would like to do in preparation for tonight?
I think so. Red Chain would be getting. How many mages do we have in the group again?
Including yourself, 3.
Okay, including myself, 3. So what Red Chain would be doing is she would actually be going to a local blacksmith and trying to get 3 sets of shackles as a just in case. Old habits die hard.
Okay. You're actually able to head, and are these specifically like magic shackles or shackles that
just shackles, basically, like with the theory or the basic idea that this is kind of the best you can do. If you can separate a mage from their focus or their staff and knock them out, you might as well bind them, because it's not like she has another fix.
That is true. And despite yourself being a mage as well, there is that Kunari fear of magic and demons.
Yep.
So yes. Actually, I'm gonna have you do a cunning roll as well, just to see if there's anything you might have heard as well. I mean, each of you is probably gonna do a cunning roll depending on what your action is, just in case you've heard it. So I'll let you guys know when that is.
Okay, so that'd be 7. So that's 10 total with 4 on the dragon die.
You don't hear too much in the way of anything that can disrupt magic. But you are familiar with someone who can do enchantments. They are tranquil that actually works just out of a smith shop. When you head over to there, again, you've actually heard the name of Hector. Hector is who you're supposed to speak to when they talk about enchantments. No, I'm sorry, folks. No sandal in this game. Sweet, precious little sandal. Gone but not forgotten. But yes, you're looking for Hector. Again, a tranquil mage. As you head over as well, you ask the smith for Hector, and he indicates a robed individual in the back and just tells you to go back there. As you go back and as you say Hector's name, he sort of just stiffens up, turns around oddly robotically, and then looks at you with a very vague expression. What you see on his forehead is the sunburst symbol of the chantry. He looks at you without emotion, without feeling, and just says, "Can I help you?"
Yeah. Sorry. So Red Jane's eyes keep being drawn to the sigil there is feeling way more awkward about this than they thought they would be. I need 3 pairs of shackles.
Just plain shackles.
Well,
You
they're
wouldn't be
for
asking them if you came to me.
they're for holding mages.
I figured. A lot of Templars come to me for that sort of thing. But I think I can make an arrangement and craft something for you. When would you need them by?
Sooner the better. Not in a huge rush.
I'll see if I have anything available and give them to you forthwith. Where are you located? I can deliver them myself to you.
The Rose, the brothel.
Oh, lovely place. Haven't found any charm or delight in that sort of place for myself, per se. But then again, that is my lot in life. Just a
Yeah.
joke. I'll make those soon, very quickly for you. And then he just turns back and just gets started, unless there's anything else you need to say.
Nope. Red Chain was going to leave that interaction being fundamentally shaken and deeply unhappy.
And when playing the home game, yeah, that's a tranquil. Completely severed from emotions and feelings and from the Fade. They are literally a shell of who they were, and that is exactly how they talk in most video games that they are appearing. It's scary. We can go into that in another video later. Next up, we have Ravina. What's the action that you would like to do in preparation for tonight?
There's 2 things I would like to do if possible. One, I would like to see what sorts of fun things Nodis found, so I can prepare. Since we're not supposed to use violence, I would like to do sleep bombs if possible. Like
Sure.
yeah, and then like I still want to like coat my daggers with some sort of slight poison, not enough to kill, but you know, you're gonna feel it for a couple of days.
For sure, yeah. If that's something that
if you know,
if you have,
he would
I'm
like to join me in that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You all you have to do is ask, and he will be more than happy to share whatever he has, and even help as well.
The way I'm going to put it down, because Nodis, I want to give you a full action for something as well. Ravina, I'm going to give you for any kind of check that you do, and it is going to be another cunning check for sure. Okay. You get a +2 because of Nodis's knowledge.
Okay. And I include my proficiency in that as well, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Oof. Not where did my dice go? Oh, this is what happens when, oh, that's cop. That's why. Okay. It's like, this is what happens when I leave all of my dice in all the same tray. They fall on top of each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, not great. That's a so that's a 13 with a 2 on the dragon die.
Okay. Even with the little bit of assistance that you get there, it's not too much. You are able to make something that can help cloak at the very least. That's pretty much it. At this point in
Take
time,
it.
you get a couple of at least 2 of those, at the very least, some form or other of smoke screen, smoke bomb per se, or something that can actually disrupt or distract at the very least.
Perfect. Doesn't need to necessarily, they can't knock them out. At least it can help us escape if we need to.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there is one that was probably used with Deathroot, but Deathroot is quite deadly for those who inhale it. So, not as would have been probably very kindly encouraged you to avoid using Deathroot in some kind of thing that can be inhaled. So.
Yes, just in case it also gets us.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's not so much preparation for what we're doing this evening, but I would like to go looking for information for the things that I want, if at all possible.
Things that you want? Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to say actually earlier or later in the day, actually, as you are finishing up with Nautice, someone kind of like Oscar with Red Chain, one of the other sort of orderlies or individuals who volunteered to collect the mail, actually has a message and they give it to you. You see that it's actually written in a very nice fancy writing, and you recognize that writing as, oh, what is that NPC that I gave you? Oh,
Frederick?
Frederick of Soralt. There we go.
Yes.
In the letter,
super anticipatory of this, I immediately go into my room and lock the door.
For sure. And actually, you're next for the solo moments, so we'll get into that for your solo moments, and we'll discuss that before our next episode.
Wonderful. Yeah,
just so we can move this along a little bit.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, no, that is very me and private. But that's something else that I wanted to do, is just like get any sort of information. So this letter is like super important, so I put it somewhere safe. But yeah, other than that, I'm just stretching and going through my clothes. A giant closet of like, what do you wear when you go to the docks for an extended period of time? Do I wear flats? Do I wear heels? Am I the distraction? We didn't actually talk about a plan. Because I'm just in my room talking loudly to myself.
Anything that you make or create, because I gave Red Chain, I said privately, but for this mission, they have the 3 shackles that they'd asked for. You and your creation there actually make smoke bombs to help with distraction or even just covering tracks. Aurelia has a way of shielding and covering, or at least giving cover to herself at the very least, and is able to help with at least sneaking. As promised, though, Nautice, you are next. What is an action that you would like to do, or what was it you would like to do in preparation for tonight?
So Nautice would definitely focus on making most likely some either healing potions or lyrium potions, since now he knows that there are people that can use magic here, and he's hoping that he can make as much as he can for however short amount of time, because this is like, oh, normally it takes a day or more time to do this, but now we're kind of in a hurry for this, so he's trying to like scrounge up some stuff that he can make as fast as possible.
Cool. I'm going to give you +1 to your cunning roll, and you're going to use your cunning roll again with another +1 because of your nature lore as well, because you know how to make these things.
Okay, so it's like a +2?
A +2 to your total, yeah.
Okay. I got 10 and a 1 on the dragon die.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Could be that you were just really, really excited for the night. I don't know, maybe Stan passed by at one point and just waved, and that you're a little slight distraction here and there, but You are able to make yourself 2 poultices of healing. They're like the light ones, so they're smaller. Nothing of greater healing at the very least, but you're able to make 2 poultices. If any damage should come to them, I'm gonna say is at least 1d6 damage recovery. So if anyone who takes that will just roll 1d6 and they will heal from that. And that's my house rule because I'm the DM.
Got it. All right. I'm just gonna write that down so that way.
Yes,
And you said how many of them I make? I'm sorry.
you make 2.
2. Okay.
Roll a little bit higher. You might have had a combination of a few things, but you make 2 light potions.
It'd be like that.
And as mentioned before, you are contributing to the plan because what you're doing, you're creating healing. You're doing your job. Fantastic work. Last but not least, before we go into break, Brody, what do you do before we get all ready for the night?
Now that I've purely established that my character really did not take well to potions, he's not going to craft any potions. He had a very long night. He'll probably get some rest. He does want to, at some point, maybe if he gets an opportunity to visit the remains of what's left of the circle, or or was it
The chantry?
the chantry here?
It was the chantry.
And maybe take a swing by the docks to kind of just get a quick familiarize myself a little bit with it, because I don't know if there's much Brody's gonna do as far as preparing for the night. Combat's not really his thing, so he's trying to just take in as much knowledge as possible of the area and stuff like that.
For sure. On your way to the docks, you do pass by the chantry, or the chantry remains. It's no longer the mess that it was when it was actually freshly blown up. From what you do know and recall, though, and what I've heard, it was more of a vortex that sucked in most of it and then exploded from there, because that was sort of sucked into the fade, or a bad part of the fade, and then boom. But then again, that's a lot of non-magic people making non-magic assumptions and not making proper connections. From what you can see, though, it has been sort of cleaned off. And there is a sort of like wall that's written there with handprints, signatures, and praise be to the maker written here and there. A lot of well wishes, a lot of sad thoughts. A few even saying revered, because the revered mother of that chantry was actually very pro mage. She was very understanding of the plight of mages. And I mean, that could either be very profound to you, or because you didn't even know her personally, it could have been a show. But from what you can tell, people really did look up to and revere this revered mother who ran this chantry. And it is unfortunate, and it is a great loss. And it's actually a huge dent in the world. Not to bring up anything fresh for folks anywhere like that, but think of it like the monuments for, say, 9/11, for instance. That's sort of the feeling that you get, that this was a terrible, tragic accident, and it's left a scar on the people who were around, near, and even heard it. Everyone was touched by this event. This event has changed the city, and the city is trying its best to grow, and it's doing actually pretty good from what you can tell from your assessment.
Okay.
There are still problems with it, but it's growing despite. On your way to the docks, though, that's where I'm going to get you to do your cunning roll, please. If you have any bonuses to add to that, please add 1 accordingly.
My only bonus is an arcane lore, so
Okay.
But I've got a 12 with a 6 on the dragon.
Okay. You're able to get the lay of the lands pretty good. You do notice a spot where you guys are able to be concealed. It's not behind anything temporary that might not be there, like boxes or anything like that, but there is a spot, say, right and around, that's now a closed off area where the Kunari used to camp, right by the docks, funnily enough. That sort of area there is a good sort of holding spot. It's an abandoned building now, but you guys are able to hole up there and get a clear view of the docks, as well as have some space for comfort if you need to actually stay the whole night if necessary. But it is a place where you guys can be discreet. Again, it's boarded up and no one really has access to that building. But you're able to take a look there. There are a few boats that have come in as well. None that you're looking for, none that are mentioned in the documentation that Aurelia has mentioned. That's probably not going to come in closer to like the middle of the night, like midnight-ish. when everyone's generally out or asleep, or any kind of person who's out late is either at the Hanged Man or by some sort of like sailor speakeasy that's actually right close by the docks there. And you note that as the rusty anchor. It's a very hole in the wall. You have to really be looking for that. Ravina shudders at the thought of that. But yeah, the rusty anchor is sort of the place where a lot of the sailors will go directly from the ships and into when their work is done, if they have a bit of a layover, or if they are, again, very hole in the wall, very small space, not anything at all like the Hanged Man. Probably a bit rougher than the Hanged Man, which your first experience was pretty chill. It was a good day.
Well, Ravina did not say I could not go into the rusty anchor, so I should be okay with that one.
As of right now, you are just getting a lay of the land and where everyone is and where everything is and where you guys can stake out at the very least. So you have a good working knowledge and can easily guide folks to where they need to go to.
Okay.
And this is where we're going to take our break. We're going to take a $5, maybe a $10, and we'll be back as we get to the docks as the stakeout begins. Stick around, be sure to hydrate or dive straight, and we'll see you guys when we get back. Welcome back. We're just going to fast forward and get our party there into the docks. If you missed the first part, check us out on YouTube. See if you can find the episode and see what cuteness happened in the first part. Yes, there was cuteness. In a Dragon Age game, it's me, absolutely. The party at this point in time, with the help and guidance of Brody, who had actually cased the area before in the first part, Brody, you're able to actually navigate everyone. Horny and cute meat. Yeah, that's me. That's my games. Brody, you're able actually to guide the rest of your party into the actual building, or to the building where you guys can stake out. You're able to easily, actually, I'm gonna get if you're wanting to go in, anyone who would like to can do a strength check for me to get in because it is all boarded up.
I got this, guys.
I'm glad you do.
Give me a strength check, please. You're a mage, and yet I'm making you do strength checks. What? Very versatile characters in these games. Let me tell you guys, if you're looking for a versatile game to play versatile things and do whatever you like, this is the system to use, guys.
That is a 14 with a 4 on the dragon die.
Cool. I'm going to say that you're able to break off enough boards that you can all squeeze through and duck in and make it look like no one's gone in there. But it does make a bit of noise.
All right.
That's it. It just makes a bit of noise. And I'm going to roll. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Okay. Do you all go inside? As you make your way to the top, it's a two-story building, and as some of you may have known her already, this was actually a building where part of it was part of the old encampment where the Kunari invasion was in like the first, in like the second game, or part of the Kirkwall history there. It is part of where that was. Now it all has since been cleaned and abandoned, and dust is actually just covered everywhere. No one's gone into this building probably since then. If they have, they've gone out to take out all of any kind of like painting or anything like that that indicated, Kunari sympathy or anything like that. Anything on there that's just been whited out or whitewashed or just completely been just painted over. Yes, Richie.
Because I know my people better than the Basra do, I'm going to, I would like to use perception to look for, because I know, and Red Chain knows, that Kunari tend to like engraving things more than they do like painting things, that they want to leave marks behind. So I'm a roll for that, if that's cool.
For sure. while Red Chain is rolling that, if anyone does take a look around the room, it does just look like a regular room that has been either whitewashed over concrete. When you look out one of the windows there, you do actually see the whole port, and you do have a very good vantage point to see what's going on there. Go ahead, Red Chain. What'd you roll?
That's a 16 with a 4 on the dragon die.
Nice. You do find a few spots where there's actually a list of sort of engravings in Kunari. You do see that, the Arishok and just the list of the different people under his guard there. It looked like it was sort of like a tally or roll call for everyone. You do see some names that were scratched out. That means that it's from your knowledge, though, if there's any kind of tally or like at least a roll call or a roll list, a listing of people, those are the names. If anything's been scratched out, those are the names of the people that have given their life for the Qun and got their greater reward. Or on contrary wise, the ones who still have their name. And for whatever reason, this has not been updated since actually the events of like 10, 15, or even like 20 years ago. Any name that still remains means they are either still around or they're very, very old. The life of a Kunari outside of the Qun, or even Talvishoth at the very least, or if they've been cast out of the Qun, is not a very lengthy one. However this affects you in any way, you're free to explore.
Yeah, Red Chain will place their hand on it as they read through it, and will just like very quietly to themselves just say Azit Taleb, and just kind of like nod their head against the brick, like against the stone for a second, and then move on. For everybody at home, that in Kunari translates to the way things are meant to be.
All right. Red Chain has offered peace to anyone who has passed and anyone who is remaining on that list. The rest of you, and all of you actually, are in this room now in an abandoned building on the second floor. And you can take a look and see the entire port through one window. You can always plan at this point. If you have any ideas or like to start seeing things to start getting going there, what do you guys like to do? What's the intent?
Nodis is going to look at Aurelia and say, so what exactly are we supposed to look out for?
So at the stock,
I can help with that if you'd like.
yes, help with that, please. I was just going to be like, at the stock, we're looking for a boat, and then the DM's going to tell us what we're doing.
With photographic memory, you remember Aveline in her very clear and deep and husky voice that you are looking out for a ship. I have not come up with the name or the number of it, but there is a specific name that you are looking for. The ship is supposed to come late at night, so probably around like midnight to 1 a.m. is when it's probably going to come in. What you're tasked to do is to find out what that ship is bringing in and who is actually shipping it. If it's just sailors who don't know anything about it, or is there someone who knows about it? The more information you can gather about what's being shipped in, the better.
Yeah, so Aurelia would explain that bit, and just so it could be anything from us taking a look at the box, or maybe it's a box, or whatever it is that they bring off of the ship. Perhaps if they have someone important coming to look at it, or yeah, or I don't know, we could even have to like follow it perhaps to see where it goes. These things don't exactly have a set way of happening.
And,
We should watch in groups, teams of 2.
I think that's wise.
As suggested by our lovely producer, Sun's Ballad is the name of the ship that you're looking for. Thanks, Pat. So yeah, if you guys want to watch in groups, name your groups. I'm just here to facilitate.
Are we rolling?
Yeah,
Well,
pick your groups.
Nodis
Whoever you like
will
to.
say that he can go first on the first watch if no one else wants to.
Does anyone want to go with Nodis?
Go with Nodis. Ravina has brought a deck of cards. So when she's not on watch and not taking a nap, she can keep herself busy. But in the interim, while they're just sort of keeping watch, she's just going to kind of like shuffle through them with a disturbingly practiced ease, as if there are parts of her past where it was like, were you a card shark? And you can ask her questions, but she won't answer them.
I would like you both to make a perception check. I'm assuming that's all the group for now. The rest of you are probably going to do the second half, or have you want to divide that way? Okay, sorry, I do want to check with you guys.
So I got 11 with a 4 on the dragon dice.
Okay.
All right, so that's going to be a 12 with a 1 on the dragon die. Not my dice do not like me this evening.
Well, I mean, the total you rolled high. So the two of you are fairly close in that sort of roll there. But with the dragon die roll, Ravina, you're seemed a little, as much as it was just a little like thing to just pass the time and just mindlessly do, suddenly you drop a few cards and you're like, oh shoot, I need to pick those up. What's happening? Are you jittery, maybe nervous, or whatever's going through your mind there? But it caused you to drop a couple of cards and you have to go and pick them up. Notice with your just ADD less addled brain, you are able to take an actual peek and see that there is some form of ship that is drawing in, and it is actually does have a sun emblazoned on it. There is no writing on the side. There's nothing too much particular about this ship, but it does look like a freighter. So as far as you can tell, and you would have some working knowledge, it's a bigger ship, so it's going to be transporting something. So this may be your ship based on the things that you see there.
Upon seeing that, he's gonna be. He turns and says, "Ravina, I think this might be the ship."
And Ravina, as you look, you do see the sun symbol on there, and that's a big ship. Again, with the one, you think, is it though? Is it?
It's hard to tell from here. I mean, it could be. Should we tell the others?
I mean, it does have a sun sign on it. So.
I mean, Aurelia will know what number the ship is supposed to be, so that will probably help.
Are the rest of you catching a few winks, or what's the other half of you guys doing?
Yeah, I think Red Chain's resting their eyes.
Yeah, Aurelia is also semi-napping. Just kind of curled up in a little ball of cloak over in the corner.
Brody's gonna have his scroll out and just kind of try and whatever, if he has enough light, try to make notes. If not, then he's trying to take a little nap.
There is a full moon out, so you're able to have some light. It's not the best light, but it's enough light for you to not hurt your eyes, because eye care is important in this group.
That's right.
Yeah. So for the other two, do you guys turn to the other group?
Yeah, Nodis will sort of look at Ravina and say, "Would you want me to go and get her? Because I don't know. I don't think we should wake up everyone else if it's not even the ship we're looking for."
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, you probably have a more gentle touch than I would, so.
Okay, then I'll go and get her. And he will run over to where Aurelia is napping.
Okay.
And he'll try to like gently like nudge her shoulder or something like that, just to try and like gently wake her up.
Yeah.
Aurelia, good news?
Oh,
Maybe bad news. I don't know which news exactly, but good news. I think the ship that we're looking for is here. The only problem is that we're
oh.
not sure if it's the one we're looking for.
So the ship's here, but we don't know if it's the ship.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, is it in the right location from what I sketched out before for us? Or...
Was it in
But
the
that's
location
when
that she mentioned?
that's when you realize, oh, and that there is actually a paper that Arilla had given you as well, with the indication of where the ship was supposed to be, as well as any indication as to what it is. Yes, there was going to be no name written on the side. It was just going to be a symbol, and in fact, that is the symbol that you were looking for. It's only in description. There was no actual drawing of it because they weren't sure what that was going to look like. But Sun's Valid, any sort of company from Sun's Valid Shipping, at the very least, would have just the blazed, very simple painted sun on there. Not affiliate again. It's not affiliated with the Chantry or anything like that.
That
It
was
in itself
about to
is
be
just a
my
logo.
next question. That
Not
was about
affiliated.
to be my question.
Nope,
Just
not
have to
affiliated
be
with the thing, but they're definitely a
shockingly
knockoff
similar.
for sure.
Yeah, because
They're
three
definitely a
mages,
knockoff though.
three mages walk on a Templar ship is going to be a woof moment.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So with the notes, then it would Nodis would assume that this is the
Okay.
ship that we're looking for.
You are able
Excellent.
to confirm that this is the ship.
Excellent.
Then
Okay.
yes.
Then we need to I don't know whether or not some of us stay here and look above, some of us look down to see what's actually coming off of the ship. We need to see what they're up to, essentially.
Well, I definitely would probably recommend the whomever in our group is the best to sneak around. I think they mentioned that they wanted this to be not violent, right?
This is true. This is true. I could sneak, but I think that my training is. Did Red Chain wake up just to laugh because I'm going to be ill?
Red Jade was resting her eyes, didn't say she was asleep.
Oh,
And so
my God.
she was actually listening to Brody writing until this started happening. And so when you say that, just the kind of slight laughter.
And just Aurelia it was like kind of had sleepy face and then is all of a sudden awake. Like the moment that Red Chain does that is just true. I suppose I could sneak better than others, but there may be some of us who are more attuned to it.
As long as you don't go through any windows.
It's not like you could fit through a window.
Nodis just kind of like raises his hand a little in between that sort of like conversation really quick and says, well, my short stature can assist in this sort of sneakingness. So I can go down there and check it out.
And then she would look kind of over to Brody and Ravina. Perhaps it would be best if you didn't go alone. People walk together on these types of docks, and a lookout from both up above where we are and down below would be helpful.
I agree.
Least, yeah.
I would prefer one other person to come with me, but if no one else feels comfortable with, it's fine.
Swear to God.
Oh, Ravina, we couldn't hear you.
Yeah, not again. All right. Yeah, I can go. We can talk plants. I'm sure between my vineyard and everything that you love to go and forage, we'll have plenty to discuss.
Okay. Well, I mean, with Ravina there with me, then we're pretty much in good hands. And he'll run over to like stand next to you, behind you though, Ravina.
And Ravina, you do know as well that if anything should go south, you got 2 smoke bombs on you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I guess we just head out as quietly as possible.
For sure. Was there any sort of plan or what intent you were going to do by going out there in that direction?
I guess really just to see what they bring off of the ship.
Sure.
And maybe get a head count of how many people are a part of the crew.
Absolutely.
So the ones that like stay on the ship, and then if anyone stays off the ship, just like basic reconnaissance. So the number of crew, what they bring off, and if there's any sort of talk about what should be left on the ship.
I have a question.
Okay.
Okay. This is probably coming from the Club of Bad Ideas, but
I'm down for it regardless.
we have what the Magister seal looks like, right?
Mhm.
Could we, and she would propose this to the group, in case of emergency, if they're asking what you're doing down there, perhaps we could use this as our invoice for what should be coming in, since this is what he was working towards, right?
Just, I wouldn't drop his name.
Oh,
Remember, he was on the run from them too.
of course, of course. We are fencing for the fence. We can deliver any messages they may want.
Well, I had originally just planned to, use my own name. I did send a missive to my father, and I am actually waiting for a ship to come in with,
Oh,
new
perfect.
wine for this place that apparently has forgotten what taste is.
Well, the Rose, I'm certain, is going to be so grateful once we have that back. And honestly, I as now a resident there, I would love that too. But yeah, okay, so then perhaps backup plan.
Mhm.
Okay,
Of course.
love that.
And this
We
is
actually
all part of the
do,
planning
yeah.
phase for
Yeah,
sure.
this
I
is
love
all
that.
Oh,
part
yeah.
of the planning phase, because
Yeah.
remember that time where we did zero planning before we got here?
It worked out. It worked out.
Somebody
Yeah.
made up for your mistakes. Who was that?
Me making up for my own.
Big and
And then
strong
I
step on me,
guess
Kunari.
um
I
but
say
then
that?
I suppose that like Aurelia would have like a look at Red Chain and Brody at this point and be like, okay, well, at least from where we are here, if anything they need a quick getaway, I'm certain we could add a little bit of flesh and bang to throw a bit of distraction and allow them to escape.
That actually brings a good point. Nodus, Ravina, you should see this too. And Red Chain will reach into their bag and carefully and quietly pull out the 3 manacles they had made.
3 enchanted shackles.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was supposed to be this sort of party.
They look lovely.
They're anti-magic.
Oh.
Should we be expecting other
No,
people?
it's for us.
Yeah. Sorry, Nodus. It's for us.
Just in
The
case.
2 mages can take note.
Just in case. Easier to clap these on us than have to deal with whatever might go wrong.
Fair enough.
I'll leave one set with us. Do you want to take the other 2?
Well, if they're for you, they won't really do us much good, now will they?
Yes, but we might not be in the best state to put them on ourselves if we need them.
Gotcha. Just so I'm aware, exactly how many bonks on the head will it take to take you out?
Let's just hope you don't need these for me.
I was going to ask, would Nodus understand the context of, because his knowledge on magic
Oh, baby.
is -1. Okay, so like,
I'm going to answer
Okay.
the way you answered the first time without any kind of knowledge. Yes.
okay. So
That's
Nodus
about
won't
as-
say anything about this, but he is confused, but trying not to look confused.
You just see shackles and manacles, I say, but you're just like, okay, those go over wrists. Cool. Anti-magic? How?
Bonks on heads? For them?
Do you use the manacles to bonk on the head?
I mean, if I
Like
need
these are
to.
these and more questions are going through your head here as you're just looking at these things that are then just probably given to Ravina, and another pair is just put back into Red Shane's bag.
Anyone
Is there
else have any
any-
surprises?
Yeah, any other plans or anything like that that's being figured out? Or are we just going to just rely on our two lovely little rogues here?
Oh, I was gonna ask, how far away would the others be from where Ravina and Nodus are going to be? Like, are they pretty far away?
um Definitely at least we're talking like not like a highway away at the very least, not too far away like crossing street, but like close enough in range that if there's any spells or if they need to jump in, it wouldn't take them forever to get there.
Okay, because I'm not sure if maybe one of them or two of them could be a little closer, not like all up in there like me and Ravina are going to be, but like close enough to where the reaction time would be a little faster.
Aurelia
Mhm.
would probably be willing to. Aurelia would probably be willing to get down there a little bit closer.
For sure. Is there an intent or what you intend to do? Do you want to be just close, or do you want to get on the ship?
Aurelia wants to get on the ship, but she's gonna blow it.
You never know.
If there's any suggestion that Aurelia makes towards that, Red Shade is going to be not violently, vocally opposed to the notion of you getting involved.
What makes you think that this is, yes, for the importance of Kirkwall and all, because the guard captain has the biggest investment in this, but I also really want to know what the heck someone is doing with the symbol and what they're shipping with it.
You're working with a team. Trust that your team can find what they're after. If you can't do that, stop giving orders.
Speaking of trust, maybe not the shackles is the best idea.
What? What's untrustworthy about shackles?
Do you not trust us?
Shackles seem to be one of the most trustworthy things you can do with another person.
Depends on the context.
Aurelia just like eyes wide, just like
I trust, and so Red Chain will take a step closer to Brody and point at him and go, I trust you.
Okay.
Just in the same way that I trust her. And does point at Aurelia. Just as I trust myself. That doesn't mean I trust what we channel, what we use.
Brody, at that point, I want you to do a cunning roll for me, please.
Straight cunning is.
And you know what? Add a +1 to your total because of arcane, because this would be arcane knowledge.
Okay, so that's 5, 11, 12, and then the 3 is 15 with a 3 on the dragon.
You know of what people have said about the Kunari, about how they feel about magic. You've at least been told and indoctrinated with the rest of Ferelden society that they kill mages on sight. Being a mage in this world is not usually a good thing, and it usually means it's a hard life, and you've experienced that firsthand. The Kunari have it even worse, where when you first met Red Chain, that is the norm. Even worse, they literally have some form of anti-magic collar as well as their mouths sealed shut. The fear of them being possessed by demons is so ingrained in their society and their system that they will take every precaution to make sure that a mage, or as you've heard Red Chain use, Cerebos, which is the Kunari word for anyone who uses magic in the Qun, That is sort of what their life is like. You thought your life was hard. Red Chains is really hard, if not harder. And you understand where the need for shackles comes from on their end. But I mean, you yourself also are just like, that's a little extreme.
Right.
Enchanted shackles. And you do feel sort of their anti-magic aura emitting off of them. That if those weren't around your wrist or any magic user, you would be cut off.
I will look up to her. I put my hand on her like arm, like I trust you.
I saw what, not to cast judgment on you, but I've never met a tranquil until today. I thought my people were cruel to mages.
You don't need to do a knowledge check on that one, Brody. You know exactly what they're talking about.
It's sad. I mean, we all have decisions to make in our lives, and sometimes we revisit those and sometimes we don't. Sometimes we move on and find our own path forward.
Anyways, Aurelia isn't going down with you two. You two should just go.
Ooh, I did notice there's a tavern down the way that the sailors go to. So if we ever need to meet up again, it's called the Rusty Anchor. So
Ravina's just gonna blink at him and then walk away.
It's not the Hangman as she walks away.
You visibly shudder at the name Rusty Anchor.
Never even step foot in there because it's called the Rusty Anchor. That sounds like tetanus.
Just like, what? But you're able to suppress it and you're just like, okay. Stiff upper lip, stiff upper antiven lip. So yeah, any additional plannings, or do we just want to set this baby off?
We're gonna set this baby off, but Aurelia is gonna be perched right at the window the whole damn time.
So Spider-Man over here.
Yeah.
Or even like I should say probably Batman in this case.
Yeah. Also, yeah, she felt like there was plenty she could have said because she's highly offended by the entire situation involving the shackles, but has nothing nice to say and knows better than to let this be the tipping point since they're so close to something important. But she will likely have things to say about this later. This part here is too important for her to let some Kunari shenanigans get in the way of it.
This is all internal, I'm sure.
Oh, this is all completely internal, but like the like I'm sure like as Red Chain and Brody were standing there, Aurelia is just sitting back, had been just like sitting back with like this disgusted look on her face. Like I was about to say I'd like to see you try to put those on me, but the fan fiction writes itself.
I bet you would.
Yeah, boy, it's really spicy in here.
The fan fiction writes itself. So that just it's
in that case, then we're gonna let
we'll
this
move on.
Pop off. So Ravina and Naudis, just so it looks like you're not coming from a completely abandoned building, you do take a route between a couple of different buildings and make your way so that you are crossing towards the ship there.
Perfect. That will give Ravina a chance to like quickly and like a messy French braid her hair and then tuck it into her shirt. Not so much for like I'm trying to hide who I am, but like long hair in case there's a scrap. I'm not trying to have anybody like yank on me.
Yeah, notice you notice that she looks a bit more dignified with her hair up, actually.
You look really nice tonight.
Thank you. Really going for, what's the word? Not balance. I'm just trying to make it so that everything is more concise. in case we have to run.
Understandable. I'm sure you would rather not have something trip you up when we're running away. Hopefully it doesn't come down to that.
I hope not.
Nodis, do you do anything to alter your being, or are you just happy being your little self?
He would just be himself right now.
Cool.
So yeah, I guess just chit-chatting about the different things that Nodis found on his walk this morning, just so we don't look too crazy out of place until we get close to, but not right up on the ship.
And again, the intent, are you trying to board the ship or trying to get near the ship, or are you just trying to get attention of someone working on the ship? What's your intent?
Currently the intent is to see if they take anything off the ship before even approaching.
For sure. I want you both to do a perception roll, please. Cinnamon roll characters are fun.
I got a 9 with a 2 on the dragon dice.
No, Pat, this ship is not going to end up on fire. Trust me. It's probably going to end up on fire. Okay.
An 11 with a 4 on the dragon die.
Okay, so you two are engaged, not necessarily at all in a kind of fake conversation. You are having a legitimate conversation. It does look like you two are of business. One of the surly looking bearded individuals, human, starts barking orders, and you hear him start ordering about in sailor terminology of just disembarking everything to get it shipped off elsewhere. Vehicles are supposed to be arriving for it at a certain time, but they're not there yet. He's just barking orders for them to get off the ship. That's when the gangplank is lowered, and groups of men actually start lifting off huge crates. Ravina, you are able to notice just in the small corner, very subtly, and if you weren't paying too much attention to it, you would have missed it, but you just catch the symbol of the Acacians in sort of a top corner of the crates that's actually facing your direction. Those are the crates that you're looking for.
How many?
Two have been pulled off. You kind of hear the person who's in charge just bark at them. All right, speed it up. We got 3 more cases to go. You guess there's 5.
Okay. And then
5 very large cases. I would say almost like smaller than for reference, sort of like a bouncy castle. But at least a group of men are able to, they're relatively big cases for sure.
Okay, so if groups of men who need to hurry up and move these things the size of a bouncy castle,
a little bit smaller.
Still though, it's at
It's huge.
least 20 sailors.
They are using methods to move it for sure, especially across like flat surfaces. They do have like little like rolly logs that they put it on, and then they just push it and roll it, and then slide it off as it gets to where it needs to go.
Okay. But yeah, like a
simple machines, folks.
cursory head count of sailors.
You guess there's about 50. 50, 55. There's a good crew in there. These are also quite substantially large.
Okay, so we definitely do not want to have to get into a fight. That's at least 10 men to each person in our group. Not a fight I'm looking for.
Excuse me.
It would be a bit dangerous. I think anything that's more than what I can count on my hands is a bit much.
I would have to agree. I think we have the information that we need, and I don't. Is there's not really a way to sneak on the ship, correct?
Yeah, I was going to ask that as well.
I mean, I just rolled. Nobody sees you. Really, I rolled poorly.
Nodis will kind of just look at
They do
it.
not see you at all, even though Ravina's put so much work. And in fact, Nodis, you are correct. Your height, they don't even look past a certain point. They just see above and beyond. That's it.
Yeah, Nodis is gonna look at Ravina and just kind of like, should we?
Ravina, you are remembering a certain very old and ancient Antivan proverb that if you just walk into a place like you own the place, you can pretty much go anywhere.
This is true. Yeah, let's go. We may not get another chance.
Aurelia, what you see, what you have seen up to this point is you see the two of them take a wide berth around, go thing, and then have some kind of conversation. You assume that they're just faking it so it looks right. When they go and take a look, they stop by the ship. You notice Ravina, is actually taking a good look at one of the things that come off there. It sort of pings your attention to the set of crates that are actually being piled up, ready to be picked up. So that is something worth taking a look at. But you then also see Ravina and Nodis then board the ship, and no one is paying attention to them whatsoever.
Ravina has
just walked on.
Or Aurelia has been sitting there looking at the window, just kind of like leaning, just watching, and then watching them get on the ship. Her just hands are gripping the sill. Just they're going on the ship. They're going on the ship. They're walking onto the ship.
You didn't tell them not to.
You can just see she's like wanting to peel her face off. And then she's like, oh my God, they're going to get killed. They're going to die. They're going to die. They're going to get killed. This is it. Oh my God. We're never going to be able to figure this out.
You need to drink more.
I will when this is done. But I need to know. And besides, they're looking at that crate. And if you said it's the size of a bouncy house.
Of a bouncy castle, bounce house. It's
Like,
a
that is a large crate.
One, but it is a big crate.
Yeah,
Not just anything will pick that up. You should
Agreed.
watch to see what grabs it.
After they've boarded the ship, a third one comes out. Nodis and Ravina, you actually do see where it's coming from. It is coming from below deck. Without any kind of knowledge, I'm gonna actually get you guys to both roll cunning roll, just to figure out how to get around the ship. If there's any kind of bonuses in relating to nautical knowledge or anything like that, or knowledge ships or anything like that, anything that might convince me to give you a +1.
I got a 9 with a 3 on the dragon dice, but
Okay.
I do not have any bonuses. So
Okay.
I got a 13 with a 4 on the dragon die.
Nodis, you're lost. You know how to
Pretty
get down there,
on
aside from
brand.
the fact that jumping down there, but you're trying to blend in and you're blended in. Jumping down might not necessarily be a good idea, but you know it's down there is where you want to go. Ravina, there are two different doors that one could lead into the captain's office and the other one could lead downstairs where you need to go. It's a 50-50 toss-up.
Captain. At the very least, they'll have a ledger.
You go to actually what is actually marked as the captain's chambers. Actually, he steps right out just as you're going to knock on the door. He looks at you two, and goes, "You're not a part of my crew.
And you're not the captain that I was looking for.
What?
Is this not the Sun's swan song?
No, this is the Sun's ballad. Who are you?"
Oh dear, oh dear gods, I'm so embarrassed. Oh, allow me to introduce myself. Maybe I can be of use to you and your crew. My name is Ravina Bellstrom. Perhaps you've heard of me.
No.
Tragedy. Allow me to fix that. My family owns several vineyards, and I thought this was our ship bringing in our stock. I was just coming to thank you, the captain I thought you were, for doing such a wonderful job with our shipment and getting here so swiftly. I do apologize for the confusion. My companion and I will leave right away, but and then I just hand him an untainted sample of my wine, and then I just turn around.
He was gonna look like he was gonna yell at you guys. Just the proper apology would be to get the fuck off of his ship, but he pops open the cork, takes a drink of it, and just goes, "Oh, it's actually really good."
Isn't it? Yeah, so that's Bellstrom. And
Bellstrom.
Yeah, I would recommend writing that down.
Right. And actually he turns around, goes back into his office, leaves the door ajar, and goes to look for a pen.
That was a very quick thinking. I was a little worried there. I wasn't sure if this was going to be one of those moments where we would either have to run or stab him. I'm glad we didn't do either.
No, but we may still have to. Give me just one extra second.
Okay.
When you're contacting my father, let him know that I sent you. He might give you a discount depending on how many cases you order. And
for sure.
Your name? I would love to properly apologize.
Nicodemus, from Teventer.
Nicodemus. That just rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it?
Yeah. Most friends call me Nikki.
Nikki. I like that. Would you then allow me to consider you a friend?
Absolutely. I'm someone who makes some kind of wine like that and gets me a connection like that. My men and myself are grateful. Absolutely. I would love to be friends.
What a fortuitous accident. May we? And I'm just going to ask politely if we can come into the office to talk shop.
Oh yeah, sure. My quartermaster's got the crew delivering the goods there, and they're going to be taking care of it from there. He's not at all cagey about it. He's just not sure what it is. He's just being very vague that they're just
and it really is my fault. I should have realized that those cases were just slightly too big to be our wine, but I wasn't sure how much had been ordered. I thought it was for the entire city.
Very big cases.
They really are. I mean, we have to put metal in something.
Metal?
Yeah, it is raw viridium ore that we're delivering. Not sure why we're delivering that there. We're just getting it sent there.
That is very strange for a port city to need that much metal, especially that kind.
I think that too. It's not really my job to ask.
And it's really not my business to wonder. I deal in grapes.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm probably don't mind. I'm probably sure I can share this with you, no problem at all. We're in different industries together, and you're not going to steal it, as far as I can tell.
What would I need it for? It would make the wine taste terrible.
And what would you need that much for? If anything, green viridium, or at the very least, in a very ungodly sort of color, is really good for armor. But why would you need that much? That's the weird thing. We're just told to ship it from the Viridian mines in up near in Teventer, just south from the main city.
Armor? Again, this is a port city. Are they just expecting their soldiers to just sink to the bottom of the sea?
Yeah, who's the silly Billy who wants to bring all that here?
I don't know. Some weird guy in weird robes with a weird looking symbol or anything like that. I didn't catch his name, but he's seeing the other players right now. Some some kind of culty guy or something like that.
Ugh.
He had a really stupid accent. Like this is what a Tevinter accent is supposed to sound like. His sounds really pretentious and obnoxious. You know what I mean?
And of course, the last thing anyone needs is another cult. I mean, really, aren't there enough temples to the gods as is? Like, really now. Anyway, thank you so much
Yeah.
for being so gentle with us for our mistake. But yeah,
Honestly, the wine's what bought me. That is fucking-licious.
thank you. And I'm sure if you actually write that in the letter, my father will be much more he will be happy to make negotiations for a continuous supply.
Yeah, for sure. And if there's anything that I can help you with or even offer you in return or exchange for even like thanks, like this is gonna be really, really good.
There's nothing I can think of now, but I'm glad to know you, Nikki. And
Yeah, I'm gonna be here for a few days if you need me. I'm gonna be staying at the Rusty Anchor. They got nice cheap places there. I'm gonna avoid the booze there because this was really good.
Yeah, you really can't go back. You can't go back. And I do apologize. It's difficult to regular ale and mead just doesn't do it anymore.
No, it's fine. And you know what? It's cheap and it just fills the spot. But
well, I mean, the problem with these places is their alcohol is terrible, but whoever they have in their kitchens is fantastic. So you need the proper pairings. You are doing your food a disservice by serving whatever that is that comes out of the river.
And this is why we're friends.
I do have one quick question. We've entered into his office chamber thing, right? I was gonna ask if while Ravina is sort of like talking up with this guy, if he's not paying attention, I wanted to sort of take a look around and see if there was anything that I could perceive as something that would be useful to getting some more information or something that I might be like, oh, maybe someone might know more about this.
I'm going to get you, Nada, since Ravina is very well keeping the captain's attention at this point in time. I'm going to get you to do a perception roll with a +1 to add to your total. Actually, no, fuck it, a +2. He's very well distracted.
Then I got a
Ravina has like
9
attention.
I have a 9 with a 3 on the dragon dice.
Okay. But you are, and that was with the +2?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. You're able to see stored on his desk, actually a lot more organized than you probably would have assumed. There actually is a pile of shipping manifestos right on top, right in the very corner that is closest to you.
And I can probably like pocket these.
Yeah, you could, and maybe a couple of pages is probably what you would need. At the very least, the first few pages would have inventory of what's on the ship and how much as well.
Okay, then I'll take that then.
Okay. You take like the first 2 pages, then it goes into another manifesto for some other shipping that needs to be there. If you take a quick and cursory look at it, you can identify right away that these are the most recent ones. He keeps all the most recent shipping orders and manifestos on the top. So
I just want to make sure. I just want to ask: is there a name attached to any of these
there
items?
There is. You do see a name in there, but it is so quick that you're concerned the captain's going to see it. You don't really make it up. It is a long Tevinter name.
Okay.
Something that ends in EUS, and you're just like, that's probably it.
Then I will make sure to pocket these, and then be nonchalant.
I mean, even after you pocket it and after the conversation, Captain Sora looks over at you and then looks at Ravina and is like, okay, well, I do need to probably go back to it. I need to look like I'm doing something on this ship and not just, captaining it.
Of course.
Right? So,
and I just,
If
I,
there's
you know, I
anything
just
else.
kind of grab a handful. I realize that this is nowhere near enough for your entire crew, but I drop like 5 more on his desk.
You're doing more than enough there. At the very least, you definitely need to at least call on me at least once. I am going to be here the next couple of days. Anything that you should need or anything like that, you have it. You've been more than generous. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Now we are going to get off of your ship and let you and your men get back to work.
Okay, they should be right about done at this point in time. We've only got 5 crates. Not sure where they're going, but they are supposed to be getting picked up. That's for sure, though.
Well, the farther away from the water, the better.
That's true. Anyways, good night to the two of you. You, dwarf friend of Ravina's. What's your name?
Oh, yes, I didn't get a chance to ask at all because no one asked me. My name is Nodis.
I'm so sorry,
Nice.
sweetheart. You know
No,
how
it's
I
okay.
get when I
Sorry,
start
thank you,
talking about
Nodis.
wine.
Oh, it's perfectly fine. Honestly, it's okay.
And the captain is going to get up and escort the two of you off the ship very politely, very dignifiedly, not rushed or anything like that, just as you're all finishing up chit-chatting, and guides you onto the actual main part of the ship there. Aurelia, if you are still on full-on watch, you see Ravina, Nodis, and some individual who looks dignified-ish enough to be, at least on this ship anyways, to look like a captain, walk out, and it looks fairly pleasant. No one's shackled in hands. You do see Ravina and the captain shake hands, and they disembark from the ship safely and happily. They then also take that roundabout back. Do you head back to the rest of the group? They do that roundabout back to head back to the rest of the group, sneak in, get in together, and you guys end up sharing information. I am just going to speed up at this point because we're getting close to the wrap up of game. With this information, I am also going to put an ask to the group. With this information, do you then turn in this information to Aveline and to Varric? Awesome. So after an actual proper night's rest, and with enough rest that you all are fully recovered and fully, able to be presentable and able to go with people, you go as a group to the garrison to report this information to Aveline. She's super grateful, and she is able to at least discern and actually have maybe soldiers take a look at when this is going to be picked up. At that morning, from that morning there, they do have some folks who are then looking into where it's being shipped to and who is transporting it. They are going to get back to you on that information next week's episode. For your guys' effort and for the information you've received, each of you receives 150 sovereigns each. And each of you gets one favor from either Varric or Aveline, your choice. You all get one sort of like big one together from Varric, but you all each get one favor or one sort of ask from Varric or Aveline, again, your choice. And we can do that discussion in our group chat on Discord to see who would like to get what. And so I can make note of that. And that, if everyone's good, is there any additional, any outros or anything like that we want to do, or any outside RP we want to do and get out of the way? How are we all feeling? Awesome. So that will bring us to the end of episode 2, which I've now retitled The Party Completely Breaks the ST. Because I had so much fun running this game, and I'm going to have so much fun running the next 3 episodes as we go through our limited series here. I want to thank all my players here today for, again, playing this fantastic game and giving me all the laughs I've enjoyed. I've enjoyed each and every single one of you. Garnet, I'm looking forward to when you and I actually talk about your one-to-one, which is going to be the next episode, which I'm really excited for. I also want to thank everyone at Martlet Games as well, including but not limited to our producer, Patrick, Mr. Gill, who is running this. And if we did not have him, we would not have the stream. I don't have any sponsors per se to announce or anything like that, but I do want to say thank you for all of you who are watching at home. Anyone who's a Dragon Age fan, any comments or any Any like well wishes or anything like that, or just lots of good luck, are really just appreciated. I'm just telling the story because I really like telling my own stories, as well as telling a story in a world that I'm very familiar with and very much interested to tell, and tell a different angle of it as well. And once again, I do want to thank all of my players for indulging me in this, and also indulging in telling the stories that they would like to tell as well. In the meantime, I want to wish you all a good night. Before we do that, I'm going to do a quick reversal round robin, and we are going to start with outros just to see where you can find everyone. We said in the beginning, but we'll just do it one more time. We are going to go in reverse order and start with Petra.
Hi, I'm Petra Skelton. I've had the absolute pleasure to play Red Chain. You can find me on Twitter as Pre-Apocalypse. You can also find me on Itch as Pre-Apocalypse, and Instagram Name a Place. Yeah, I'll be in a couple other different games that you'll probably see here and there. And yeah, come follow me on Twitter. We'll talk about tabletop games.
Jair, you're next.
I'm Jair, and I played as Nodis Tollins, a surface dwarf, and had an amazing time with this session. And everyone's characters I'm just obsessed with. So.
And Corey, I'm not going to say Cody this time.
Hi, my name is Cody. I played Brody tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. You can find me on Twitter at IndieCorey Harris. Yeah, I did put the last name on there. So yeah, and at Martless stuff.
And Garnet.
Hey y'all, I am Garnet. I was playing Ravina Belstrom. And normally, like I said, you can find me on Twitter. I am usually talking about screenwriting and animation and arguing for the rights of animators because they don't have enough. So yeah, that's where I am. And please help me fight the good fight.
And last but not least, Mare.
And hello there. My name is Mare. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Oh Hello Mare. And tonight I have been playing the newly neurotic Aurelia. I have discovered just how quickly she can start dissolving like a sugar cube. So we'll see how much of her is left by the end of this run at this rate. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm having a blast. I hope everybody else is having a blast too.
Can confirm. Thank you, everybody. And once again, my name is Rose, she, her. I played everyone else, any and all pronouns. And you can catch me on Rose Bulbasaur on TikTok, Hive, and Instagram, Rose_Bulbasaur on Twitter. Again, wishing you all good night. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. Night, everybody.